The party
Guy
was lame to me.
Fieri.
Fieri.
This is the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I'm being joined by my sister and co-host, Vetta.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
Awesome. And on this episode, we have a special guest, Papa Pumpkin, the Gourd King. Papa, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing? I finally got through. I've been properly vetted.
Yeah. Do you want us to call you the Gourd King, or do you want us to call you Papa Pumpkin?
Most people at this point call me Gore. Papa Pumpkin is just the name of the new channel I was forced to launch.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah.
All right, we'll call you the Gourd King for now, and if when we have you back on later, we'll call you Papa Pumpkin. Okay.
People don't usually call me Pumpkin or Papa until we get to know each other better.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's
Matt
right.
likes to call everybody Papa.
Yeah, I do. I like Daddy better though. Okay, so yeah. All right. So on this episode, you guys, we are gonna be, since it's the spooky season, the start of the spooky season, we are going to be reviewing the movie Near Dark. But before we get started on this episode, you guys, we are going to ask the most important question of the night, and that is, what are you drinking? And Gourd King, since you're our guest, we'll start with you. What are you drinking?
Actually, I'm drinking a Cayman Jack margarita right now.
That sounds delicious.
So good. I love those.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
They're so good. This might be the last one I drink for a long time because I'm like, I got to give these up. These are pretty good.
Yes. Vetta, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Dark and Stormy.
Nice. And what is in that?
Dark and Stormy has dark rum, ginger beer, and like white rum in it. So it's just a lot of rum.
Right, which is not bad.
No,
not
that's
bad.
delicious. I love rum.
It's like I'll have some rum, side of rum with my rum,
Right?
Okay.
Exactly.
So I am just drinking, this one is a honey whiskey and a Coke and a McDonald's cup because it was Coke from McDonald's. And then I have a backup Dr. Pepper and honey whiskey. So all right,
yeah,
you guys.
I have a rum and Coke as a backup as well.
Nice. Yeah, never can go wrong with rum and Coke.
No.
All right, so let's before we get started on talking about this movie and going through it, I just want to ask you guys first, when was the first time you saw this movie? And when you first saw it, what did you think about it? Gourd King, we'll start with you.
This is actually kind of a staple of my upbringing. So if anyone hasn't talked to me about this before, I saw a lot of movies from the age of 5 that I had no business watching. I was allowed to watch like RoboCop and Predator and all this stuff.
I think that was like, I don't know how old you are, but I feel like that was like our generation. Like,
yeah.
I totally feel like I'm a Gen Xer, and I feel that was a Gen X thing. Like your parents.
I am one of the early entry millennials.
You're an elder millennial. That's what
I am one of the elder millennials. Yeah. So this movie, I think it came out when I was 4. I saw it like a year or two later.
10.
Yeah, my dad was already like pretty into it. I don't know if he saw it before like we recorded it, but I was allowed to watch it and I completely fell in love with it. It's probably my favorite. Like, I don't know, it's not the movie I would consider like objectively like the best vampire movie, but it's my favorite one personally. I even got MMM to do a review for it. It's a movie. It has its problems, but I enjoy the heck out of it, and I've probably seen it 30-40 times at this point in my life. I love it.
Yeah, it 100% has issues with it, but I would agree. It is definitely a great vampire movie that they never actually say the word vampire in the entire movie, which I'm like, that's phenomenal.
Right on. Okay, so and Vetta, we both saw it when we were young. I remember watching it when I was very young.
Our parents didn't care what horror films we watched or anything.
Exactly. So. Yeah, they were all about it. Okay, so let's get into this movie real quick. Let me pull it up here. So we start off. Now, I have a question for you guys. So we start off this movie this, what is his name? Adrian Pasdar.
Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb. So there's a mosquito right here, right? And it's landed on mosquitoes, the worst fucking thing on the planet.
I fucking hate
them. What is the point of mosquitoes? Like, if God created everything, what was the point of the mosquito? Explain to me.
Other bugs.
For vampiric symbolism, obviously.
Right.
You know, when you do a DNA test, it will tell you how, like, what percentage you are to be bitten by mosquitoes more than other people.
No, I don't, and I don't care. Okay,
you could argue that you could argue if you want to be really grim about it. God created mosquitoes for population control,
right?
I mean, they are kind of like one of the number one killers in the world.
Right. All right, so we get Caleb here. Now I have a question for you guys right off on this very first scene. Does he say stupid suck, or does he say stupid fuck? Because I could not understand it, and I rewound it, and I didn't have the closed captions on it. It wasn't an option for me.
Fairly certain he says suck.
Because I was all like, well, that was weird. Like, did he mean to say fuck? But he was trying to say, stupid. Like, he was trying to say cool and great at the same time. So he just said gruel,
I almost get the impression that this is like one of those instances where it's intentional by the writers, which, by the way, anyone who doesn't know, this is Catherine Bigelow's first solo effort, and she is the greatest female director of all time, hands down. She's more masculine than her ex-husband James Cameron.
Absolutely.
But the impression I get is that this is either, now I don't know, I would doubt this is genuine slang for that area, but you could either take it as it's presented as such, or like he's saying like sucker, but he just stops himself midway because of the slap. And that way you achieve kind of the symbolism of the word while simultaneously kind of justifying it.
Right on. Well, because I was all like, did he say stupid suck? And I was like, that's a weird thing to say. I thought it was weird. Okay. So then we get
way more than I did.
Oh, I cared a lot, because there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I was just like, what's happening here? Okay. So then we get this intro where we get to see this little town, which I found very charming, even just in this little thing. And then we get Adrian, and he goes into town, right? And he comes across his two little friends here, and they're drinking beer, and they're just having a good old time and everything. And I thought this was fun.
They're drinking a beer.
Oh yeah, it's a great. But they're okay. So I wanted to say this. Okay, so they're drinking and they're sharing, right? And then they see this hot chick from across the way, and the one's all like, okay, I can't get it. God damn it. Okay. Anyways, so they see this hot chick, May, across the way, and she's eating ice cream, right? And he's all like, oh, I must be dreaming. And he's like, well, keep dreaming and everything. And I was like, ooh, good one, burn and everything. So Caleb, he walks over, right? And he goes, can I have a bite? And I was like, no, you cannot, Caleb. That's gross. You can't be eating off a stranger's food. Don't be nasty.
And that's a terrible pickup line.
It was terrible.
It's a terrible pickup line, but it's one of those intentional lines that's a bit of foreshadowing. It's like, have a bite. It's like, well, you're gonna get one. So.
Yeah. And then
also we right off the bat, because I figured we would get into this anyway, just because it's commonplace, but it starts immediately. The soundtrack by Tangerine Dream is just beautiful. I love the OST to this movie so much. It still is probably one of my top 10 favorite of all time. The music is so good.
Right on. Yeah. The music is good. I also like how he goes, I've been wanting a cone. And I'm like, no one says it like that. No one says I've been wanting a cone. They say, I just want ice cream. That's all they say. I was like, what are you doing here? Right
or now? I've been wanting one of those. Like,
yeah.
No one says
just dying for a cone.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think back then probably doesn't sound as suggestive as it would now, although to now it would sound suggestive all at the same time incomplete. It's like a cone, what, you just want the one?
There's the one.
We would be thinking, are you like halfway doing a boob reference or
right? So he introduces himself to May, and May is very pretty and everything, and she's like, she was like, get me out of here kind of thing. So they go driving, and she's very pretty, May.
A cutie patootie.
Yeah, she's
Ginny writes, she's an attractive lady.
Yeah, well, not anymore, but
well, age,
age. But she's very pretty. So, well, I mean, Caleb's very pretty too. Pretty people are annoying. Anyways, okay, so
Caleb's actor hasn't aged that much either. This last I saw him,
gray hair. That's
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's like he doesn't look too different.
Yeah, but he's very both of them are very good. Pretty people getting married or ending up together is annoying. Okay, so they go out in the middle of fucking nowhere kind of thing, and she's all like, "Can you hear it? Can you hear the night?" And I'm all like, "No, because you don't hear night. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" It's because she's she's crazy, because she's a vampire and everything. And I don't know about you, Gourd, but the crazy ones I steered clear of. Like if I was with a girl and she's like, "You hear the night," I'd be like, "I need to take you home because you're weird. I can't do this right now." What would you have stayed in? Like, I'm gonna get me some of this.
Well, it all depends on intent. Now, I wasn't the type, never have been the type to just to fool around one night and everything. So yeah, I tend to, if it is, as long as I can identify the crazies, I'd be like, yeah, I probably would stay away from the crazies. Now, I don't know if I was like at the first part of this conversation, I'd be like, okay, maybe she just really likes nighttime. But as it keeps going, it's like, oh, she's a bit of a weirdo. She's sweet, but I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere.
Which I was very interested in the whole vampire gang because I was like, why did Jesse? Like, I got why he picked Diamondback, but I'm all like, and I got also why he picked Homer, which I want to talk about that whole thing. But like, why did he pick well, what is Bill Paxton's character?
Severen. I think Severen, it's because so they give you hints about the eras they come from. Like I know, like Diamondback, you kind of get the idea she's kind of a Dust Bowl era wife. Homer is kind of like almost like a 50s to 60s, almost kind of reminds you of Bender in The Breakfast Club, the way he dresses and everything. Bill Paxton's character kind of resembles an Old West kind of figure, and my impression is that with Jesse being kind of a Southern guy, I think he just saw Severen was like, that's like a brother and he'd be valuable. And I think they have banter that kind of gives you the feel that these are like brothers. And with him being a former Confederate soldier, he was around men and knew how to develop brotherhood. And I get the impression that's their dynamic, is they're like brothers.
Okay, yeah, because Homer, I got like that Diamondback wanted a kid, and and there's this this little boy. Which, by the way, I just want to say real quick, Homer is the brother from Teen Witch, which we just reviewed with Kate. Yeah. Which I loved him in this movie. Let me just I want to talk about Homer in a little bit because I love him. Okay, anyways.
I just love this actor because no matter what the role is, he commits to a whole new level.
He makes a choice every time. Yeah, okay, so May's all like she can smell the sunlight kind of, so she's like, "Get me the fuck out of here, dude."
Oh, and she panics. She goes from I love you, smooch, smooch, smooch to 1,000 so fast.
Yeah.
Well, one of the interesting things what came up during the MMM discussion was, how did she lose track of time? And to me, it's like there's kind of two elements that I think more or less justify it relatively well. She's been a vampire for about 4 years. So yes, her instincts and her mannerisms and habits are probably more or less pretty well developed, but nowhere near as refined as the people who've done it for much longer. But also he does take her, he surprises her by taking her off the beaten path, I assume to his place to show her his horse and everything. So we don't know exactly how far out they are, but she is into him. She likes him. Like they're kind of making it clear she actually likes this guy. So when he takes her off the beaten path, it makes sense that she would be a bit distracted, I think, by those two factors. So I think the movie does a decent amount of legwork to ensure that her being, having to rush home isn't like just a plot convenience or anything.
Well, and I think that plays into her being new as a vampire and also being changed as a teenager. Like she still has those like teenager.
I'm really glad you brought that up because a lot of people, when they examine Homer's character,
they're like, compliment her. They're not compliment her at all.
Well, like Vex was very creeped out by Homer because Homer's much older, but of course later in the movie he has this thing where he is trying to convert this kid that's closer to his age.
I want to talk about.
We'll get to that too.
I think Homer presents some of the most. Homer and May present some really interesting questions regarding what happens to you kind of, I guess, biologically when you turn. Like, you may be aware of the fact and have experience of an older person, but I think they very clearly demonstrate that they kind of retain kind of the instincts, you know, that are set to their age. Like Homer, while he's an old man, technically also still acts very much like a kid. Like, he cries at times. He, you know, is very angsty and stuff like that. So, you know, while yes, if we looked at it in a real sense, like, oh, this older man's attracted to this little kid, and I'm like, I don't think you can quite view him in the same lens you would view an actual person of that age, because he would obviously be a man. He'd be very different. You know, he wouldn't stay that.
But I also
that size
go, are they developing mentally? Because they're also frozen just because his age.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I would say that, yeah, it's like they're
12,
experience. They have the experience of a person that's older, but I don't think they have the kind of the mental instincts of an older person.
Oh yeah, because Homer definitely wants to fuck, and he can't because he's 9 and everything. So I mean, he's all like, listen, you know.
Well, and his infatuation later with Sarah versus May.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about that because I have thoughts.
Well, we need to get past
spooks. Yeah, he spooks. So she spooks the horse because the horse is like, not today, Satan. And she's
animals,
all like,
no predators.
Yes,
animals,
they
no
do.
Predators.
And so she's all like, hey, I don't hear the night anymore. We need to get the fuck out of here. Like, move your fucking ass, Adrian. Okay.
Actually, you know what's funny? I've never quite heard it put that way, that's why she kind of becomes alert. But that's actually really interesting. Like, as many times as I've watched it, I've never heard it put that way. But I'm like, actually, that's a pretty good way of looking at it, that the night becomes a little bit quieter and she's like, oh crap, it's becoming daylight. That's a good way of thinking about that.
Yeah, like she's like the whole time I'm all like, because I was all like, if this was a date, I'd be like, all right, I need to get you home, honey.
I would actually be curious if that's even evident in the sound design now. I'm actually going to have to rewatch this scene later.
Yeah. So okay, so they're driving back and everything, and she's making out with him because she's like, listen, thanks for the date, but I need to eat. I need dinner.
You almost said the dick.
The dick, yeah. Thanks for the. Well, that's the thing. I thought she was gonna give him some play, like some real play, and not just making out and stuff.
He's kind of a dick and does that whole, I'm not taking you home unless you give me a kiss. And I'm
I mean, he just thinks that.
Fucker.
Well, I mean, his whole thought process is like, oh, she's just, you know, scared about getting home on time because, you know, he didn't know that, oh, she might die if I don't get her home soon.
Right.
So he's like, all right, you kiss me first and everything, this will be all good. And then he doesn't quite realize what he's getting himself into here.
Yeah. So then she ends up biting him. And while she does that, she ends up changing him into a vampire.
Which, by the way, this is, as a kid, this was probably the first, one of the 2 oldest movie scenes that genuinely, like, on an empathetic level, disturbed and kind of scared me. The other one was probably Murphy getting killed in RoboCop. You know, the way he kind of gets blown to pieces and everything. That was obviously pretty crazy. But this one actually always got to me more because it was very easy to kind of put yourself in the shoes of a person that doesn't realize what's happening to them. And then they're like, what? Oh my gosh, I'm catching on fire. What the heck is going on? Like, that would just terrify me. And I love the way this plays. I love the way the music.
And as a teenager, what is his first response? I just need to get home.
Yeah. And he's just like, and like, even listen to Adrian Pasdar, because by the way, if you haven't watched the making of documentary, you can find it on YouTube. It's one of the best making ofs of any movie. It's really fun listening to Catherine Bigelow and the actors and the writers talk about making this movie. But they basically lined his jacket with like cigars, so that's all cigar smoke. And he was like, dude, I smelled like a cigar for like a week. It was horrible.
Nice. That's actually a really good effect, though. You just put some cigars in. That's
looks
really
great.
Good. I would have never thought about it. I'm like, we're just gonna have to set you on fire, just so you know. So be prepared.
No, they saved that for Homer because they're like, we're gonna set someone on fire. We're gonna do it to the kid.
Right on. Okay, so then he tries to make it home, right? And Sarah's all like, I can see Caleb coming, and the dad's all like, yeah. And then the dad's like, oh, okay. And then in pops this RV. And I was like, oh, this is a pretty nice RV and everything. And they're just driving through these crops and shit. And they snatch up Caleb. I want to just say, though, when they snatch up Caleb, he drops his hat. And I was like, that was mean. Like, because that's like $70 just down
Right.
the toilet. You fucking
Don't worry, though.
assholes.
Sarah gets it.
Like-
Sarah's got it for him. Sarah saves it.
Yeah, so we'll say that. That's the only part that I was like, all right, we'll let it pass. But the vampires, that's a no. The cowboy hats can get expensive.
These are pricey things, and
Yeah, these are pricey. Yeah,
you don't want to lose them.
Yeah, they're not just, you don't just buy them for $20 at the, although you can buy them pretty cheap.
No, you don't want
the
to,
gas
though.
station,
Don't
but
get
you don't
the
want those. You want to go to,
You want the
anyways.
nice ones,
Yeah, you want the nice ones. So they get in here, and so Caleb, he's changing, right? And they're all pissed off at May because she didn't.
Not at first. They don't know he's changed at first.
Right.
Because I've heard people question, why did they risk? Because they're basically risking death to grab him. They were like, why would they do that? And I'm like, well, okay, we kind of get the establishment for this later in the movie, where they're freaking out over somebody going to the police. That's their fear with him, is like, we've got to snatch this kid up. Right. And like, even when Severen's threatening him, she's getting kind of scolded a bit by Jess, like, for doing that, and then simultaneously he's trying to protect him and everything. But yeah, they're basically like, we can't let this kid, go out to the cops or anything like that. He knows that, we're dangerous. He might, get in touch with authorities. We can't compromise that. But then they find out, oh crap, she actually bit him.
You realize they're overreacting. He didn't know shit. He got a little makeout session that got a little bite.
Section.
Yeah. They can. They're just. They're probably their MO is just, we don't take chances with people like this if we can catch up to them. And they're like, hey, we can grab this kid real quick. And we're just going to kill him. But then they're like, oh, crap, he's turned. It's not going to be so easy to actually kill him. And then, he's a full-blown outsider in this nuclear family. So they're like, and I love the fact that they actually know right out of the gate that we have to make sure he can actually be one of us before probably, I would assume, take him out in the middle of nowhere and throw him out in the sun. That would be my guess of what they would do to him.
Right.
And what, they give him a week to prove himself.
Yep. So then the dad, he's all like, hey, my son is missing.
He just got kidnapped in front of us.
Yeah, in front of us. And the sheriff's like, the sheriff, I feel like, did not do enough, in my opinion. But, what are you going to do?
But
First
remember,
48, y'all. First 48.
Yeah.
He was a runaway.
Yeah, he's a runaway. So then they give him, the week or whatnot to join the club or whatnot. And so they roll out and they steal this truck. Severance does. And they just end up burning everything they do. I'm all like, you guys can calm it the fuck down, okay? So then they
to trace if they're just taking stuff, burn it, move on.
Yeah. So and I did like the so then they're all like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I gotta get home. He's like, I gotta go home. And she's like, no, you're staying here with us. So then
by the way, one quick thing. So there's a hint in that scene of what Severen's age probably would be, and this kind of why you figure he's an Old West figure aside from some of his mannerisms. But he makes a little quip about, hey, remember that fire we started in Chicago? Well, that's referring to the Great Chicago Fire.
Yes,
it took place in October of 1871. So it's like, oh yeah, he was definitely like an Old West figure, basically.
Right on. Yeah, I do remember that line.
Yeah.
So then,
which a lot of vampire movies actually make reference to, like, large fires. They actually do that in Interview with the Vampire with in New Orleans, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, which you're just like, okay, calm down. We got it. You all started the fires of everything. Okay, we got it.
Burn everything down.
Everything is a vampire's.
Vampires love starting fires. It's their way of defying the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Or it's their way of connecting to hell because they're, whatever. We get it. You like the fire. Move on.
Right. So he goes to the bus station. He's like, do you got any what's the next bus to his little town?
Fix.
Yep.
Yeah, Fix. And he's like, what the hell is that? And he's like, the closest city is, I don't know, Portland. I can't remember what he says, but and he's like, I think he says he's like $14. And he's like, I got $8 and or something.
11.
I can't remember. 11. I can't remember exactly what he says.
Yeah.
So he ends up getting
there's a lot of good little details here too, because they haven't quite, the bite in the sun more or less give away his nature, but this is kind of a lost art in movie. So we have him trying to eat because he's starving,
right?
And he tastes candy bar. It's horrible to him. I love this little bit of acting where the guy puts his hand, which, by the way, if y'all don't recognize that actor, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, he's the
yes.
He found Captain Winky. So he gets killed that way. But when he puts his hand up to his
him.
face, if you actually watch Adrian Pasdar, he kind of gives this little look to the blood, like he can smell it. I was like, nice little acting detail there. I like that.
But you smell so good. Don't be
like,
weird.
Why does that smell good to me? That's weird.
Yeah. Adrian, don't be weird, dude. Okay, so he ends up letting this guy letting him go.
Gives him $3.
Yeah, give him the $3. And he gets on the bus. And May had told him he wasn't going to get far and everything. So he comes back to May because she's like, you're not going to get far because you're going to be hungry or whatever. I don't remember exactly what she says.
And she doesn't say that, but that is basically what she's
yeah. And she's like, take a drink. And I'm all like, don't be weird. Why are you guys always saying weird shit? Take a drink or whatever. And then she's like, not too much and everything. And I'm all like, okay, not too much and everything. And then they start making out and everything, which I have thoughts about the vampires and everything and the whole sexual thing, but we'll talk about it later. But so then they are just chilling. Oh, and while they're doing this, the dad wakes up because he's had, I don't know, like if he had a premonition or he just had a bad dream or whatnot. But
I think it's just a bad dream.
Yeah.
His son's missing. He's stressed out. I don't think it means anything like too symbolic. I think he's just he's stressed.
Oh, because I just like the way they changed the scene. I was just all like, did he see his son?
I think it was just a good way to do the transition. Like
because daylight wakes him up as the sun's coming up and everything, and
So then he's back at the sheriff's office. He's like, yo, fuckers, you need to start looking for my son. And the sheriff's all like, no. And so he's
like, you just gotta relax and give us some time.
Just chill out. Teenagers disappear all the time.
There's a lot of open country here. It's kind of hard to find people.
But you guys gotta remember, before the milk carton stage and missing kids things.
The milk carton thing didn't do freaking squat anyways.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, at this time, missing kid things weren't like crazy as they are today.
Yeah, I mean, in our modern day, we still say like the first 48 for a missing person is still the most crucial. Back then, it was probably less than that because we don't have the internet and stuff like that.
If you were a parent today and you called the cops and said, people in a car just nabbed my kid out of my front yard.
Yeah.
It would be completely different than it was.
Which, by the way, that is, if you're wondering why they burned the RV, that's probably the most immediate reason. Like, we got to burn the RV. Somebody saw us driving it off with their kids, so covering the tracks. Good justification.
Yeah.
But that's what this whole thing where the dad goes looking on his own. I'm like, this is so set for this time. Like,
it's
much because everyone was a runaway or they chose to go. There's not much they can do. So it was all about the parenting, and they're out canvassing, looking, and driving all over.
Yeah.
Which
and
I was all like,
girl means business when they're out. Like, she's like, what, 7 or 8, and she acts like she's 40.
I find her quite annoying. I was all like, please eat her. Like, please. Okay. So
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, she's a little kid. It's like, she's fine. She's kind of a plot device in a sort of a way, but
for sure.
I don't mind her. I don't mind.
I mind her quite a bit. When she was all giving her sass later on, she's like, I go where I want. I was like, fuck you, dude. Shut up. You're annoying. Anyways, okay. So they're looking for his kid, and he tries to call home, and they're not there. Which I kind of got this sense that he's like, they're not fucking home. Fine, I'm gonna be a vampire. And I'm like, you need to calm down.
He got annoyed. You saw it in his face. He was annoyed. No one answered the phone.
Yeah, which I'm all like, calm down, okay?
They're actually care.
Yeah, they're actually doing something about it.
Well, and he's not only that, it's like, and he kind of tells her that, he's like, I don't, like she says, just feel it. And everybody goes, that's kind of what I'm afraid of, because you got to think what's fascinating about the dynamics of this and what goes unspoken, but hinted at, which, I don't even think we can fathom exactly how he feels in this moment right now. So it's like his senses are heightened. He tells you later, it's like he sees better at night and everything. So he's going through some stuff where he's just like, I don't know how to cope with all this stuff right now. And he's probably just like, I really want to talk to my family and they're not there. Crap. This is just heightening the panics. He's just like, I don't know what to do about all this. So I think he's I think his character's like 21 in the movie. So yeah, it's like, he's just hit like drinking age. He's met this new girl. He's on the road all of a sudden with these crazy people who want to kill him. And yeah, it's like, this is a nut situation.
His reaction to becoming a vampire is unique to other vampire movies. For sure.
Like they've done the whole thing where, you know, you have the reluctant new vampire. They did this in an interview with the vampire with Louis, where they don't want to kill, but it's the way in which they kind of, like, part of what I like about Bigelow's approach is that she drops a lot of the commonplace gothic vampire tropes and just treats it almost like more like a medical condition where it's hard to, it's like, yes, you're experiencing a lot of the same effects that a vampire in gothic lore would experience, but you're not getting the fangs. You know, it's really just, you have to exist at night and you want to drink blood, and you're a lot stronger and you have better nighttime eyesight. You're a nocturnal predator, basically, who is more or less kind of indestructible except for a few exceptions. So yeah, it's like you're turning into a new being in a way. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of terrifying.
Right. Yeah. So here she says to him that she's like, you're gonna have to get used to killing. And I'm all like, you know, May, you can't just say that. Like, it's like, hey, like, okay, I'll just get used to killing, May, and everything.
Like,
I'm all
like, hey, let's go get McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's not the
well, I mean, there is an understandable urgency because I mean, you got to think he's probably on day. I think he's on day 2 at this point. So she's like,
oh yeah, this is like
5 days to pull this off, or they're gonna dump you out in the sun, and you're screwed at that point. So there is an urgency to her telling him that's like you have to learn to kill.
But I also just want to say, I feel like the vampire gang who is very dirty all the time. I'm like, you guys are, like, you guys can't take a bath. Like, like they're like eternally dirty. I'm like, later on in the film, one of them, the kid Homer is sleeping in the bathtub. I'm like, just turn the water on. It's okay. You can't.
Well, this actually makes me wonder. It's like, do they sweat? Do they perspire? Would
That's
they actually?
A great question.
It's like that'd be something to wonder about. Now, granted, you got to think their
Jesse's
clothes would accumulate a scent to them after a certain amount of time. Obviously.
Yeah, and Jesse doesn't look as dirty as the rest of them. So does he shower more?
I mean, they clearly have to clean up at some point. Look at him here. I mean, he's obviously cleaned himself up to put on this kind of character.
Yeah, he's
Are they just lazy? I think they're just lazy.
Yeah. So they're peacocking. He's peacocking right now because right now they're all on the hunt. Okay.
And they're showing us how they all use their own little.
Yes, I don't know, Severin's here. He picks up these 2 whores. And he's all like,
we don't know they're whores. How
they, as soon as he mentioned drinks, they were all like, yeah. And they let him in.
Party girl.
I'm
sorry. Hold on a second. Would you let a complete stranger in your car?
I was just going to say, have you ever picked up a hitchhiker before?
No, because I have a brain. No.
Okay, here's the thing. I did once because it was a woman, and I was like, if push comes to shove, I'll take her. It's fine.
I have picked up a hitchhiker.
I felt more or less. I felt more or less okay. I was like, I think I'll be good. But I mean, here's the thing.
Did you bang her?
No, she wasn't good looking enough to bang. It was completely a courtesy.
We've all fucked a couple of fatties before. Come on.
I'll say this. I mean, as far as looks go, he doesn't have bad taste, and he's progressive.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, well, and Bill Paxton's a good-looking dude. Anyways, I'd fuck him. So then he gets in the car with these 2 ladies, which I'm not gonna lie. As soon as he got in the car, I'm like, oh, those 2 deserve it. They're idiots. Okay, and then Homer. Oh, I don't know if I can
see. And this is where you missed the when we get to Jesse, and then I'll say it. Never mind.
Okay, yeah. So Homer, he ends up. Okay, I can't get Homer, but Homer, he ends up
faking getting hit by
a car and a bike and everything, and a man stops.
Well, he's just playing like he got hit by one. I don't even think the guy's the one who hit him. I think.
I don't think so. Yeah,
pulled up. Yeah.
And then these 2
here. This is where we find out she has not been a vampire as long as possible, because they talk about how he pulled over to hell, or he was pretending he had a flat tire. So she had
like they don't tell you the exact time and circumstances, like, because it could have been an old car. It could have, I mean, it's like, but it had to have been a car.
But it had to be in the 1900s because maybe late 1800s. I don't know when cars were invented.
I know Jeanette Goldstein modeled herself as a Dust Bowl era wife, so that puts her in the 30s potentially, perhaps a bit later, like if she simply just came from the era, so it could be the 40s, but it's probably 30s or 40s.
Can I just say, I thought she was a circus performer because she had knives and shit and she was throwing them, so I was like, she's a little carny. That's how they met.
Oh no, she's had a lot of time to learn with the knives.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But
I'll say this also, it's interesting because obviously this movie, and this is they established this in the making of, Catherine Bigelow kind of cannibalized the cast of Aliens to do this, which, by the way, there's an Aliens reference to this. You can see a theater where they're playing Aliens. That's kind of a direct nod to James Cameron being okay with that, which then, of course, they eventually, him and Catherine Bigelow got married briefly. But it's such an interesting contrast, this version of Jeanette Goldstein, which is pretty, attractive given the trappings of her character, compared to like Vasquez, where she's, granted, not bad looking, but she's, the tough chick, and she's, kind of more of a tomboyish character. But like, I didn't know for a couple of years.
Got her boobs on display the whole time. Like, she's got the tank top, low cut. She's like, these are some nice ladies. Let's show them off.
Well, I mean, in Jeanette Goldstein, I don't know if you know, it's like her side business after acting has been selling bras.
Nice.
Because I was curious what she did now after rewatching this for the MMA thing. I was like, oh, she sells bras. Well, that kind of actually makes sense. She's a busty gal. So
right on. So these two are just sitting here waiting for their prey to come and get them, and they do, like little idiots. And so they pull some guns on them. And then she's all like, I liked how this one was like, oh, you smell good. And I'm all like, oh, you're getting too close and everything. So those two get
he calls her a looker, and he says, you're not going to look so good with your face. And I love that they don't show what they do, because they let your imagination run with it. But you can be sure he was being dead serious. He's like, yeah, I'm going to rip these guys' faces off, and it's going to be fun.
Right.
I was like, there's part of you that wonders, like, gosh, just how bad did they F up these dudes?
Right on. Well, you shouldn't have touched his lady, okay? So then these two, they get picked up by this Cajun trucker guy, right? Now, this guy, I thought this guy was nice. He was actually a super.
See, I don't get how you can be annoyed with Sarah and not be annoyed with this guy. I found this guy, like, even though he doesn't objectively deserve to die, I was still okay with it. After a while, I was like, he was a little too into his semi truck. He was a little too into his truck for my liking.
Right. And he's making too many drinking and driving jokes. Like, you can't drink and drive, you can't shift. Because he's got a beer in his hand. And I'm like, all right, you deserve what you're getting because you are making bad choices.
I found his driving very educational. So
driving with an open container is illegal.
Yes.
Yes.
Responsibly.
So then they end up stopping, right? Now, this is the part where I did kind of get annoying, because he's like laughing at him. He's the kid, he's sick or whatnot. He's like, I can't drink and drive, I can't handle your liquor. And I'm all like, maybe he just wants to throw up. Maybe you should leave him alone.
And this is honestly
rally. Calm down. Yeah.
Like, this is one of those scenes, like, I think, and I'd be curious about Catherine Bigelow's perspective on this scene, is because if I'm making this movie, from my standpoint, I think the problem with this scene, it's one of the scenes which just kind of bugged me a little bit, is her kill drags a little bit too long. So he kind of has to just kind of keep the laughing and the little jabs going, and it gets a little bit grating after all. It's like, are you wanting me to be okay with him dying? That's because realistically, you're like, just end it already. He's kind of annoying. Just get rid of him already.
But I think she was taking her time, hoping that Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously justify it logically and everything, but it's like, if I'm a filmmaker and I'm wanting to kind of make sure the pacing is good, and I don't want any of the dialogue to come off a little bit unnatural. I think he starts to come off unnatural the more he keeps the insults and the laughing going. It's like, because I think a normal person is probably going to just give like one or two jabs, and they're like, okay, I'm going to help this guy up. But he's kind of forced to keep going on and on and on, because the scene's going on and on and on.
Right on. So they kill him, and she has him again drink from her, which I was like, listen, Caleb, stop being a fucking pussy, okay? Just kill him, okay? Like, just stab him in the neck with something, and you got to get over it, okay?
And this is where they're different from other vampires, because they don't drink and then leave people alive. They kill everyone they drink from.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in their case, yeah, it makes perfect sense, because like, they're like, bringing somebody into the family is threatening, and that's part of what's so cool about this movie is the modern trappings of it. Because if you were trying to be a vampire in the modern world, you're going to have kind of the concerns of a modern person, because it's a little easier when you don't have constant like surveillance and cars, and there's more people around. It's like you can kind of seclude yourself during the day. That was a lot easier back in the old times, whereas now it's like you've got to adjust to modern life, and that's where these people are stuck. And it's like, it's actually really hard to do that.
Right on. Yeah. So then we get more of the dad looking for the son. and which is fun. But this he
and
talks about.
Realizes he's going in the wrong direction.
Yes, I was just about to say that, but right on.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
It's totally cool. At least one of us said it. So I loved how they hopped on the train on this part because I was like, look at that, you guys are fun. You guys are fun. Just riding the train now. And they're all pissed off because he has not killed yet. They're all like, you motherfucker, and everything. So they're like, Severance is all like, we should kill him now and everything. And they're like, no, you're going to do this.
He wants to kill him so bad.
So bad. Like, I'm all like,
kind of all of them do at this point, other than maybe they've all got like, Homer wants to because he's kind of jealous because he probably was holding out hope that May would eventually come around. It's like, nah, dude, you look like you're 11. Severen also, he wants to just because that's kind of that alpha mentality. Jesse is more practical. Diamondback's kind of taking, her cues from him in that way.
Yeah.
But then we get to, a lot of people consider this the best scene in the movie. I think it's the second best scene in the movie.
I think it's the saddest scene in the movie, if you want to ask me. Okay.
Oh, it's like, this scene is, if you're coming from the perspective of just the people in the bar, this is horrifying.
Oh yeah, I have lots of thoughts about this whole bar scene. Okay, so they go into this bar, right, which is very like, there's not that many people in it. But they go up and Severance is just being a total dick. If like for no 100%. Reason. Like he takes this dude's drink and everything. He's like,
this dude, by the way, never has good luck in movies. This is the guy, if you watch Terminator 2, very beginning, he's the one who Arnold takes his clothes. He's the one who gets thrown onto the burners.
I didn't know that.
That's him.
Yeah, well, I will make sure to keep an eye out for that. But okay, so he's fucking with this guy, and I'm all like, you guys, this is how you're gonna tell him he's gonna kill somebody. You just go into a bar, like a crowded bar, and
the thing I love about their exchange is he starts by being a huge dick to him, then he puts the beard as he gives himself a little beard and everything. He's like, I'll tell you the one about Buffalo Bill, and he kind of gets him for a moment on a side. It's like, hey, give him another, suggesting he's buying him a drink, and then he's like, now pay the.
Right. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. I was like, oh, what a fucking dickhole. And then,
can I just say at no point does anyone say you have a child in a bar? You can't have a child in a bar.
I was just about to say that Homer is in a bar and it's very inappropriate. But okay.
But they're the largest group. What are you gonna say to them?
Yeah,
seriously, you don't got a bouncer, so it's like, how are you gonna tell these people no? They're the largest. Like they make up more than half the bar already.
Right. So then he's being a dick to this guy, and he spits in his face, which I was all like, if you spit in my face, we are fighting. That's just the end of that story. And he doesn't know he's a vampire. So, but he puts up Caleb here, and Caleb just lets him be the shit kicked out of him.
He uses him as a meat shield.
And the guy's like, going by his garb, he's probably like a non-vet. And he's like, because he's got the military hat, he's got the camo on, so he's probably a Vietnam vet and everything. He's just like, he's first wanting to beat up Severen, but Severin's like, no, go ahead and beat him up. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll beat him up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's like, all right, I'm mad. Okay, so then the waitress is coming over, and she's passing out the alcohol, and she's kind of flirting with Jesse, and Jesse's all like, just leave the cup and everything. And he starts
he's turning up. Like, it's funny because you look at Jesse, and from a guy, it's like, I'm like, I don't know if most women would consider him the best looking person in the group, but he is turning up the seduction thing, and it's working on this girl, but it's totally a trap. And then the Diamondback just gets up and cuts her throat, and it's like, oh, their intentions are completely clear now. Now the bar's like, oh crap, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah,
but I actually really like that nobody completely freaks out, because I actually think that's probably a little closer to reality. I think most people would I think in a small contained setting, most people would be so shocked that they'd be like, what's going on?
Setting, people would have pulled out their phones.
Today's setting,
definitely.
But I don't. Well, what gets me is the bartender. He's got a shotgun, and my whole thing was, I'm all like, we're just gonna stand here and let this asshole, like for instance, this guy right here, he chokes. They beat the shit out of the veteran guy. This guy right here, he chokes him out. And then while this is going on, this guy, the bartender's loading up his gun. And I'm like, load your gun faster. You just should have been loaded already.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and
he's trying to be secretive about it. Dude,
here's the thing. If you're looking at, they're all armed. Now, whether you know that or not, you have to, it's Texas. You're going to assume that's a huge possibility that they're armed. So it's about 4-on-1. So it's like, I better be careful doing this, because if they notice I'm loading my shotgun, they're just going to turn around and shoot me.
See,
so it does make sense that he would. Now, the real, like, if you want to kind of poke holes in the problem, it's like, why didn't you have it loaded already? I mean, if if it's a self-defense shotgun, you'd have that loaded already. You wouldn't have to load it yourself. Yeah. So I actually think I would agree it's a flaw, just for a different reason.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and it's a movie. It's fine. It's fine. It's just me. The whole time watching this scene, I was just like, "Are any of you fuckers going to even say anything? You're just letting this dude get choked out.
It's
like, what's
Texas,
happening
and
here?
It's a roughneck bar. It's like, you better have a freaking loaded shotgun."
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, the whole time I was just like,
back at the pool table, just stands
that
there like
dopey asshole.
Doesn't
he's mortified. I think they're all kind of thinking the same thing. Like, these guys might shoot me or whatever. I mean, they're terrified.
He's the only one that takes action later when his own life is in danger. So then, Caleb gets blasted here, and he's all like, "Ah, shit, that hurt," and everything.
Which, by the way, so fun fact about this scene. So Adrian Pasdar, this was the first time as an actor that he had been fitted with squibs, and that's what they achieved the effect with. He said they give you specific instructions on how to take the little burst, because they're like, it'll hurt, and he goes, it knocked the wind out of me, so that reaction is completely physical. Like, he's like, I couldn't breathe.
Well, the first time I had to take the burst from a squib, somebody should have told me about it. Anyways, so I did like Severance's reaction to this. He's all like, "Oh, he's like,
it's a kick, ain't it?"
Yeah. He's just all like, he's like, "Your first gunshot wound." Good
like,
for you, buddy.
I just noticed he has a sheriff's badge on his jacket, which he almost certainly took off a copy kill.
That is so funny, because I didn't notice either. Okay, so then while they're doing this, this dopey asshole's just standing there like a fucking asshole. He annoyed me so much, because I'm like, either grab that pull cue and hit somebody with it, or get out of the. I know Jesse blocked the door, but this guy obviously figures a way out of the bar and everything. So I'm like, figure something out. Okay, so the bartender he shoots, and then he's trying to load his gun up. And I did like this right here, because again, Severance, he's all like, a problem with your shotgun. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah, so he goes having he's like, hey, having a little trouble with your hog something.
Yeah. And I'm
hog hammer or something like that. Which fun. Yeah. Oh wait, another little fun fact about this scene. So Bill Paxton came into this day of shooting, had really bad migraine. Apparently that was something he suffered from. And to help him, they gave him a shot of like pure B12. So this energy is purely B12 energy that he's got. Nice. He said, I swear I was absolutely wired doing this scene from that shot. And I'm like, yeah, you can kind of tell his energy is like really high during this part.
Right. Yeah. So then while he does, he kicks him in the face, and then while he brings his foot back, he cuts the guy's throat with his spur, which I was like, ooh, that's good, because I forgot about this part. And I was like, oh,
vicious.
Yeah, and the guy, he just bleeds out, and I'm all like, oh man, that sucks for you, dude, but whatever. So then we got one person left in the bar, this little idiot right here. And May, being who she is, she's all like, come here, dance with me. And I thought, and a small piece of me was like, that's kind of nice, May, that you're just kind of like, come here, I'll lighten the mood a little bit for you before we take you. And so she's dancing with him.
Matt just gave away that he totally would take the crazy person, because he, even in this situation, he'd be like, oh, she's being nice. It's like, no, she's not. She's not being nice.
Oh, well, listen, I've always said the siren song would pull me in, because I'd be like, am I getting laid right now? Fuck yes. And then
wait a minute. Is this situation about to be a win?
Yeah.
I guess it was worth it for all the
day. In a horror, gonna live and get laid.
In a horror,
what a weird headline that would be. Bar attack, 4 dead, 1 laid.
Yeah. So then she's all like, come here, Caleb, come eat him. And this guy's all like, fuck that noise. And he's all like, no, and everything. So he runs, and he just like fucking just hops out the window. Oh, I didn't get it and everything. So he hops out the window, and he does a little tuck and roll. And then everybody else is all like, fuck, go after him. Adrian Pasdar and everything. I love the hop through this thing. I'm all like, all the glass, you didn't get one cut on you fucking dickhole. Okay. So then they're sitting here, and I love how they're all like fucking around with the bartender. I'm like, he's dead. He can't hear you. So yeah. And then of course, what do? They light the fucking place on fire. I'm all like, you
They
people
take the time to make mollies out of the liquor bottle.
I thought the same thing. I was like, you guys have too much time on your hands. Let me just say that right now. Like,
I mean, you're gonna burn out a bar. I mean, you might as well do it the fun way.
I mean, I guess so. So then Adrian sorry, Caleb, he catches up to the dude, right? And he's gonna mow out on him, but he decides he's not gonna. He's gonna let him go because the guy's like, please, and everything. And I'm all like, Caleb, they are going to eat you and everything. So he lets him go. And then they're all like,
Jesse loses his shit in the car ride. He totally turns into a dad in this car ride of yelling at Jesse, like, now every cop in the state's gonna be looking for this car, you know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's perfectly justifiable anger because he's just like, you all screwed up. He's like, he's going to the cops. We don't have a place to stay at. So it's like their situations, from their perspective is pretty dire. I love the way this scene plays out. It's like he covers his hand so it doesn't touch the sun when he has to reach for the key. I love the little line where he's like, hey, you were in here lots of years back. It's like, yeah, I get in every 50 years. Make me a reservation, which is like, oh, that's probably true.
Yeah, I did like this. I did like that little interaction also because they pointed out earlier the sun because he like looks at it and everything right here because he clicks this little bell, and I love how the dude gets up because he's all sleeping and stuff. And then he asks for a bungalow. One of your bungalows. And then the guy
bungalow.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, didn't you come around here? And he's like, I'll come back. And like you said, the reservation. And like you said, he grabbed it with his jacket. Now I thought he was doing it so he didn't get his fingerprints on the key, but it was because of the sunlight, which is also again great. So they're all napping because that's what vampires do during the day. And they're getting a knock at the door. And
this is why I called the bar scene probably my second favorite, because this sequence is my favorite scene of the movie. This is, I think, low-key one of the best movie shootouts ever, particularly modern. Heat is kind of the apex of modern movie shootouts because it's so grounded and feels very real. But as far as like the more kind of fictitious, kind of alluding to like Old West type shootouts, this is just so freaking good. And it is bloody too. Mm-hmm. Plus it's got a lot of really great banter. Like it almost reminds me of like if you were to take like the banter in like Red Dead Redemption and apply it to a modern vampiric Western. It's like, that's what you get. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So I love this part right here where he's like, it's checkout time. And then bam, right through this guy's fucking whole midsection. I was like, oh God, he's dead. He is dead.
It's funny. Gosh, if you look at modern day like digital blood effects, they don't touch these.
Yeah.
They don't look nearly good.
Yeah, this was very realistic because I was like, man, he just got squinted, for the first time for sure, which is always the roughest time. Okay, so then they, like you said, they just have like the cops in this are just shooting at this building. They're just like, just shoot any part of it, just turn into Swiss cheese. And then these fuckers inside, they can't get in the sunlight, so they're trying to shoot out. I love when Silverback or whatever her name is, when she
Diamondback,
when she shoots and then she tucks and rolls and then what's his face comes and shoots out of the window, and I'm all like you guys like and then okay, so then
they got some practice.
Yeah. So Caleb, he's like, I'm gonna give me the keys. I'm gonna go for the van. And I love how Severance is all like, or somebody, Jesse, I can't remember who it is. They're like, we'll cover you.
Yeah, like I said, there's really good banter in this scene. There's really funny.
They are terrible.
Him and Severen, where he's like, he says, he goes, hey, he goes, Jesse, how you doing? And he's like crap, how you doing? He's like, I'm down to my last inch of skin. Caleb is just like, I mean, in his situation, he's like, I've got a chance. He takes a really interesting opportunity. He's like, all right, I'll go for the van. That might earn me some browning points here, which it does. But also great music to this part as well. Yes. And then he gets shot up pretty good.
Yeah, which Vetta said it, and I was gonna also say it is like they're like, we'll cover you, and then they are the worst at covering him because he gets shot like 50 times. He's on fire. I'm all like, where's the coverage, you assholes? Like,
I mean, truth be told, I don't even know how you would properly cover him in this situation. I mean, he's like, we'll fire some shots, but we're firing blind in a lot of this. So
right on.
I mean, it's not like bullets are going to kill you anyway, so who freaking cares?
Right. Well, all I know is if it was me, and as soon as
I actually kind of think that's kind of, there's almost like double irony to him saying we'll cover you, because he's like, A, we don't care about you. B, do you really need to be covered against bullets? It's freaking bullets. All we're trying to avoid right now is the sun. So it's like, once these people die, who cares?
Right on. So he gets into the van, right, and he gets in. He plows it through the bungalow, and everybody gets in, and they drive away, and they're all celebrating, and Jesse's happy. Everybody's happy with him and everything. So then they're celebrating. At one point in time, this is where Severance gives him one of his spurs from his boots, and they're all very dirty, and so they're so dirty. So they're all just hanging out and everything. They're having a good time and everything. And Caleb and May, they come out and they have a little lovers, whatever.
Stargazing lovers moment.
Yeah. And so they're all sitting here. This child has a cigarette, but I get it. Anyways, so Homer, now this is the part where I want to talk about Homer. Okay, so this is why I like Homer. Because at the beginning of the movie, he's like, you're not an old man living in a little kid's body. And then Severance is like, yeah, but I have to hear about it every night. And I'm like, yeah, Homer, shut the fuck up. We all get it. You're like a whiny bitch that's whining about the same goddamn thing that can't be changed. Like, shut the fuck up.
We get it, Forever Virgin.
Yeah,
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all like, and then I also, first off, I love this. If you ever watch Teen Witch, this actor is like so over the top, but I'm here for every minute of it.
I am not joking. I have come to the conclusion that every role he makes, the minute the director says, I really like what you're doing with this character, he latches onto it, he commits, and he does not let go. And I love it. I have not seen a movie yet where I'm like, oh, buddy, you could have done better. Every time I'm like, oh,
yeah, because I love how he's playing this game, and he's just all like, he's like, hey, yeah, I know this shit and everything. I'm part of the crew, even though I look like, a prepubescent boy. And then so he's out here smoking a cigarette, enjoying in a very oversized coat, like Jesus Christ. And he's all like, just chilling. He's listening to the night. As if they do, and he hears a little, a little krrr, I don't know how to make the noise. Anyways, so he goes over, so he goes over and he sees Sarah, and she's like,
and it is love at first sight.
Which I just want to say, at the beginning of the movie, this is my biggest problem with him, is at the beginning of the movie, he's like, I'm an old man in a little man's body and everything, and now he's all like macking on a 9-year-old, and I go, you're a weirdo. I don't.
Okay, yeah, and that's kind of where I think there's it's like, because his perspective, it's like, this kind of was talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, so he's now, number one, when you're a young man, it's like, obviously you're attracted to girls your own age. You're attracted to kind of like every girl above that too.
True.
It's like your first crush as a guy is probably not someone your own age.
That's 100%.
It might be the one you remember most, but you're almost certainly attracted to like an actress or a singer.
Yeah,
or something
Amy
like
Jo Johnson, Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah, so like, I mean, I think the first woman I was ever like really attracted to was actually Debbie Gibson in one of her 80s videos. I thought she was really
Debbie
cute.
Gibson was hot then. She's hot now.
I haven't seen her lately, but yeah, she was really good looking back in the day. But
she's aged well.
She has aged well. You can get a cameo from her.
Yes,
for like $70. Yeah, she'll do a whole show for you. And anyways, okay, so yeah.
Also, now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're gonna,
I guess part of me wonders, like, Homer, please tell me you're just playing the long game here. You're not going to actually do anything to her for at least like 10 years. And then it's like, okay, she's of age. We can start talking about how much we have in common.
Right on. Okay. So she's all like, so then he's all like, and then this is the part where Sarah annoyed me, because she's like, I go where I want. And I'm like, Sarah, you need to calm it down right now. Okay, Miss Thing, because I'm not here for it and everything. So
truth be told, though, this is how girls that age act around boys that age. They're like, I'm
that is true.
Her, and I'm just like, I'm too cool for you. I've got good handwriting.
Yeah. And I love how he's like, you want to come watch TV? And she's like, is it colored and everything? And I'm all like, yeah, racist. very, very racist. That's what I said. Very racist.
You mean like Severen's girlfriend? Never mind.
Yeah. So then he brings her back to the thing, and they're all like, they're just chilling. Then she's like, you guys stay up late and everything. And
the
we keep odd hours.
Like,
yeah, we keep odd hours.
It actually is one of my favorite lines. Like, we keep odd hours.
Yeah.
By the way, this is one of the parts of the movie that's not aged particularly well, because I don't think anybody would have any idea why this is happening. But yes, back in the 80s and 90s, at a certain time during the early wee hours of the morning, you'd hear the national anthem and the channel would go off the air. It wasn't this 24/7 stuff.
Right.
Nope.
So then Diamondback, she's all like, she's all like, what are you doing, dude? And then she's all like, Sarah, well, what room are you in and who are you with? And she's like, I'm with my dad in room 3. And in comes Caleb, and he's like, Sarah, my sister and everything. And she's like, I can't remember what Sarah says here, but she says something like, I could kill you.
She's allowed to punch your lights out.
Oh yeah, I want to punch your lights out. And I'm all like, yeah, do it.
Which, for that, again, a line that in universe makes sense, but also has the double meaning of his lights technically are punched out. He can't walk in them. So
right. Yeah. So then
there's good detail to this writing, is what I'm saying. It's like there's intent behind this writing that actually works pretty freaking well.
Yeah, for sure. And so Severance goes to get the dad, and then in walks Papa Caleb and everything. I don't remember his name.
Gosh, another thing
Harry
that that hits me with this movie is behaviorism, and how, again, it's kind of a lost art where because I debate this with people, whether it's in chats or in on X or whatever, where they kind of just accept that characters are stupid when the plot needs them to be. Alien Earth being a great example, because freaking every character on that show is a retard, but these characters act intelligently. I mean, like, again, the first thing Diamondback does when he sees Homer's brought this little girl in, she understands his intent, but also understands the necessity immediately. She is with somebody. He could compromise us. We need to go get him and deal with this problem. Right. These are intelligent characters who have behavior that they adhere to.
Right. So then in walks Papa Caleb. Like I said, I don't remember his name. So he's
I don't think they've like his name. I think they may say it once. I'm looking at the credits. His character name is Loy.
Loy. What a dumb fucking name. Okay, anyway,
Loy.
So
very Texas name, but yeah, Loy.
Is it? And well, in Texas, you guys got some dumb fucking Loy. How do you spell that?
I don't live in Texas. I was like, but if someone told me they named their kid Loy, I'd be like, you're probably from like Texas or Bama or something like that.
Or you don't like your child.
I would just go, did you mean Lloyd? And you just
Lloyd
it wrong.
Yeah. So I like how he's all like, why didn't you pick? I tried to call you. Why didn't you pick up your call? And the dad's like, we were looking for you, fucker. And he's like, calm it down. And then so they're like, all right, we're just let him go. And then as he does this, what's his face? Homer, he gets pissed. He's like, no, Sarah's mine. And I'm like, Homer, don't be weird, dude. Calm down. And so then it gets Severance.
Homer went to stage 5 clinger so fast.
So
there's a lot of really, like, I love how different all these different character dynamics are in this scene, because you got Caleb's obviously is doing the thing where he's trying to ensure that his father and his sister are going to be safe. But he's also trying to let them know, look, I'm with these people now, and it's kind of his subtle way of trying to negotiate with them. But Homer, obviously, he has his intent. He's like, no, you took May, I get her. So it's like you have all these different characters behaving, and it's creating this subtle bit of chaos right out of the gate. It's like, oh crap, the intensity's racking up. But what is Lance, who's just the Lance character, Jesse, is just constantly like thinking practically, is like, look, they know our face, we got to kill them. And he's like, I say kill them. That's all there is to it to him. He's like, look, he's like, we're protecting us. Simple as that.
Yeah. So then I liked this because Papa Caleb, what was his name again? Loy. Oh, what a dumb fucking name. Okay, anyway, so he pulls out a gun, and I like this part where Jesse's just all like, you don't want to do that, dude. Like, it's not gonna do anything. So why don't you just wait. Yeah, well, like, what's going on here?
Very matter of fact, because he's like back up. He's like, not likely, and he shoots him, and he's just like. He just acts like it's a minor inconvenience. He's like, because it hurts. We know that these gunshots actually hurt them, but they can't kill them. So he just looks like, now you pissed me off.
Yeah. So then he shoots him, and I like how he's all like, he grabs his arm and he's like pulling. He's like, ah, and I'm all like, yeah, that's what happens when he grabs the gun like that. That happens in every movie. Okay. So then I open up the door and the sunlight's there. And so Caleb jumps in the car.
I argue this is probably the biggest plot convenience, is that they came in minutes ago from outside, and it's bright like a couple of minutes later.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it turns to brightness like that. It's morning time, and I'm like, what happened? The Matrix. That's what happened. Okay, so he jumps into
How
into their
come
truck.
nobody smelled the night was running away?
Right, exactly. No,
well, I mean, you could argue that if they had staged the entirety of the scene better, the kind of the intensity of the moment could make them kind of not think about that. Plus, they're indoors. It's like you could get away with that. And plus, with them trying to keep them in and make sure they kill them, it wouldn't even matter. They just have to keep them from going outside in the first place. But
right,
yeah, it's the whole fact of May and Caleb literally come indoors, and clearly it's not daytime when they were out there because they would be frying, but right when they go out like 2 minutes later, boom, big sunlight.
Right on.
Yeah.
So they're in the car, and he's like, what? I liked this line where he's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm not really sure what's going on. I was like, that's an excellent point, because it's been like, what, 3 days, and you've been like watching people murdered left and right, and you can't
I don't know what to call it. They just kept trying to get me to drink blood. I didn't want to do it.
Well, I mean, all he says is he's like, I'm not a person anymore. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I'm not a person anymore. He's just like, but I don't know what I am. Because like vampire is not like a frame of reference to them in this real world setting.
And this is one of the most unique cures I think we get out of any type of vampire movie.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there could have been more legwork to establish it, because there's obviously it's going to raise a lot of questions, because like, okay, the medical aspect of him being able to perform it, I more or less am okay with, because he is a vet, and he works on a farm, so he understands basic treatment. Where do you get all the blood? Why would this even work? It's like there are some mechanics to it that you're like,
there is, because he gives him his blood, but I'm like, he can't give him all of his blood because he would die. Right. I'm like, how much blood do you need?
Yeah, you would basically, I mean, you would need blood stores if you're doing a full blown transfusion.
And I just go a one and done. I feel like this would have been an experimental thing. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have just done one try and bam, he's human again.
Yeah, because like the purpose of I mean, obviously blood transfusion, you're replacing lost blood or blood components, and you're trying to improve health. This is a novel concept to do it, but again, it's like you're raising a ton of questions. Like it's like you would need blood stores with either O negative or whatever his exact body type was. Where the heck is he getting that from? Because just a simple, I'm giving you some of my blood, it's like that's probably not enough.
Exactly. So he does a blood transfusion, and he just clears out all the blood, the vampire blood, and gives him fresh new blood.
Like, I think, just one more thing. I think the idea is, again, it's Catherine Bigelow's more playing with the idea of this is closer to a medical condition than a supernatural thing, but it is still a little bit of having your cake and eating it, because clearly they've established in movie that they live forever. So there's a supernatural element that's kind of inescapable.
Right. So he is cured. He's now human again. So then he's sitting here eating dinner like a normal person.
They waste so much food because everybody gets up with a full plate of food.
Yeah, Vetta, I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, you need to clean your plate. This is not this is the time period where your parents were like, you need to clean your plate. There
are starving children in China.
In China, exactly, and everything. and everything. So then, he goes outside.
There are starving vampires in Texas.
Exactly.
They enjoy this.
Exactly. So May shows up and everything. And so there's
May was just a ruse. She was just there to distract him.
Well, I think that's probably yes and no. Because I mean, to me, it's like you can look at this two ways. Honestly, I think the problem with this scene is Caleb. He should have been like, "We're in danger right now," or at the very least,
you in danger, girl.
Well, it's like this needs to be I think this needs to be part of their conversation, because it's like, yeah, it's feasible that she's come on her own because they care about each other, but he at the very least should consider the possibility that, oh crap, did you bring them with you? Like, I kind of like, okay, right. Probably the biggest overall weakness of the movie is the romance between them. I don't think it's bad. It's just there needed to be more to it. And I think that this is one of those scenes where you could have extracted a whole lot of more like interesting conversation between them and kind of their relational dynamic.
In the beginning to establish it and made it a little bit more deeper.
Yeah. But I think regardless, like they need to have part of the conversation here needs to be, did you bring them here? Because that should be the most obvious potential danger is that, oh crap, she's here. So either A, they're going to be looking for her, or B, she actually brought them here. So that's like, you got to address that.
Right. So then I did like the part where she's like, you're warm and everything. And she's like, so then, and he's like, yeah, I'm cured, bitch, and everything. And so she runs away and he's like, May and everything. He goes inside the house, right? And Papa Caleb what is his name again?
Lloyd.
Oh my God. Okay. Don't tell me his name anymore. It's so stupid. And I don't care anymore.
That stupid fucking name.
Oh, that's so stupid. Okay. Anyways, so if your name is Lloyd, dear listener, not take offense. I don't give a shit. Okay. Anyways, they didn't love you. So I love how he goes upstairs and Sarah's gone.
It's short for Eloy. That's the name.
What a dumb fucking. Okay. Anyways. Okay.
It's like an old European name.
Or, an alien one. Okay, anyway.
Although in Chinese, it means thunder.
Okay, well, they can suck my
clearly,
okay?
Clearly Chinese.
Yes. And Texas go together, for sure.
Yes, exactly, yes. Okay, so then he realized...
That's why they say starving kids in China.
Exactly.
Going back to our roots.
Yeah. Ching Chong, what did you say? Anyways, okay, so he realized that they've taken his sister, and they've also cut the tires of their cars. So he takes a horse and he's riding into town, which I appreciated this because I would love to go horseback riding. Okay.
I also love the inverse of there's a shot of him riding up through the fog, which is kind of because there's the other shot where they're going to the bar and they actually have a similar shot with all of the vampires. Now you have kind of that established as a hero shot. I like kind of the way they swap that out.
And so, like we learned before, the horse gets spooked. And there's Bill Paxton, Severen, and everything.
I'd sell him.
Yeah.
He's such a prick.
Yeah, he's like, hey there, buddy. And he's like, I want my spur back, bitch, and everything. And then he's like, what does he say? I'm gonna punch your tonsils.
Punch your tonsils out your a-hole.
Yeah, through your asshole. And I was like, that sounds delightful. And then everything. And so while they're doing this, a trucker comes along and I'm like, oh, of course he does. Now, I want to be honest with you. When I had forgotten this movie a little bit, I thought it was going to be that black dude from before, but then I was like, oh yeah, he died. Never mind.
He's back. They turned him. He's a hero.
Because I literally, when I saw the truck, I was like, oh yay, the black guy's back. And then I literally was like, oh wait, never mind. Anyway, so he pulls up, he's like, this guy would have been me. He was like, get the hell off my truck and everything. He's like, you need to get out of here. I was like, I'm trying to, fucker, but you're on my truck. Move on. And so he gets shot in the head. And so
I'm gonna count to 5. I'm gonna count to 5.
1,
2, 4.
And he gets hit, and I love how he's like, hey Caleb, what does he say? Buckle your
effing seatbelt.
Yeah, it's so good. And then
okay, I have to tell this because this is probably funniest. This is one of the 2 funniest behind the scenes stories that they talk about in the documentary. So obviously he's got this pretty gnarly prosthetics thing going where he looks like a guy who just got rolled over by a truck. Mm-hmm. So him and Lance Henderson were having a lot of fun on this set, and when he had this on and they got done filming it, Bill Paxton, so this was filmed near a train stop, and he goes, hey, watch this, and he goes over after this train pulls up, and he goes to the conductor. He's like, I need your help. And like this truck, they said the train conductor almost passed out. And he was like, no, I'm fine. It's my friend. He needs help. Like he's worse. I was like, oh my God.
That would have been great if there was a sea of cell phones were back then. It would have been great to watch that. That's funny. That is hilarious. And so the guy almost passed out. So then, okay. So he's taken like, Severance for a joyride, and Severance is just pulling all the shit out of this truck. I was like, how much is left? Just grab the engine, Severance. So
the only thing I guess bugs me about this is like, I guess he's just fine with dying here, which is a little strange. And it's like, why are you so okay with, I mean, I know you just took a horrible hit to the body, but that's not enough to kill you.
But
but
gonna die.
I agree. I don't think he thought he was going to
I
die.
don't know.
think
I
they're
think that's the intent
invincible.
behind pulling all that stuff out, and then it explodes, and he does the woohoo right before the explosion.
Right.
I kind of feel like he's totally chill with it, and I was like, I mean, obviously the thinking is he was going to take Caleb with him, but I'm like, why were you even willing to die for it?
Yeah. So I love that he put his hat back on. I was like, good for you, because they're awesome. And then he turns around, and there's
And of course the spur flies off and lands right near him, classic movie style. Yeah.
Yes, so great. So then I like how he's like, Jesse, where's my sister? And Jesse's all like, don't worry about it and everything. That's like, yeah, he's gonna worry about it. So while they're standing there, Diamondback comes up behind him, and she's got her little knives. And Sarah, she jumps out of the car, and she's like, Caleb, watch out. And then what's this? Jesse gets a knife right to in the face and everything. Like, hold on, I want to show it to you, because I'm all like, how crazy is that? I'm all like, right in the mouth, his open mouth. I was like, Diamondback, you're really good.
Yeah, he caught it. Yeah, that's it's like the effect is he caught it vertically between the teeth, and I'm like, ow, that would hurt. Yeah. I probably didn't feel too good.
Yeah, and so May stops him from shooting him, and they're running back to their farm. And
I do like that, despite so they're obviously, she has feelings for him and everything. I like the fact that the way they have May play it is she's conflicted. She's not completely on one side or the other at this point, because they have been her family for 4 years.
Right.
And so clearly it's like, she's just not abruptly just going over to Caleb's side. There's still obviously the problem of, I'm a vampire. He's, I guess at this point he's warm, so he's a person now. But she doesn't necessarily know that it's possible for her to be cured necessarily. She doesn't necessarily make that connection, but I like the fact that, unlike the way they would do movies today, where they would just, if she's going to turn, she's completely on his side now. It's like it all is going to happen in a moment. It actually takes her some time to make that choice. And I'm like, okay, that's that they put some weight to it. And I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Which I'm just like, I feel like May is just like one of those girls that she's like, but I love him. And I'm all like, oh, shut the fuck up. Okay.
Well, and I think that he's kind of like the idea. And this is where I feel like this is a good part of their romance, but again, more to it would have helped this even more. Is he's kind of, maybe reminded her of having a bit of humanity when it comes to people, and I think, because obviously she's been willing to kill, she's got that killer instinct. She's a predator, and being around him, it's like, okay, it's kind of rubbed off on her a little bit, which is why she ultimately makes the choice to, take Sarah and run away. She's like, okay, this is an innocent. What are we doing?
Right.
I care about this guy.
Predators. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Vetta would know. Okay. So they end up, they find them, but they get Sarah, and they get in the car. And I loved this part right here, because this little group is obsessed with tinfoil. So they're putting the tinfoil on the car.
Blackout kit.
Yeah. And they're putting the
tinfoil. They actually, Bigelow had them do this kind of thing where they would have to create this kind of makeshift, blocking for the sun. She had them run this like a boot camp, to where they would be able to tint the windows and foil them up and everything in mere minutes. This was she wanted this to be a very organic process that they had learned to do on the fly, because if we're in a high stake situation where, we're kind of in major danger, it's like, we've got to be able to cover these windows up quick. But this is obviously the highest stakes it's ever been, because it's like, they haven't quite been in a circumstance like this.
Mm-hmm. So they spray paint the windows and stuff, and they do all this stuff. But Sarah ends up getting out of the car, because May grabs her, and they run out, and they run towards Caleb. Now, while they're doing this, little Homer, he's just got that heart full of love, and he jumps out of the car, and
if he can't have Sarah, he doesn't want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, this has made his life. This is the part of his life that's just been miserable. Is like, he can't be with anybody, and this is the first, probably one of at least the first times that he's really had an opportunity like this. And it's like, oh crap, it's either this or die. And I always even as a kid, I thought, because even when I was really young, when you'd see a kid die in a movie, it kind of would affect me. Even if it was a villain, But yeah, even this scene, it's like yeah, it's hard not to feel a little sorry for him.
Yeah, yeah. So he's burning because he's dying. And so these two okay, so sorry, Homer he lights up on fire and he's just burning. He's like, "Oh god, it fucking hurts," and everything. And then these two in the car, they are very much also burning up.
I think they just commit suicide when they see Homer
they do.
blow
Yeah.
up. They're just
yeah.
done.
The family's basically it's been destroyed. There's really, and here's the thing, on a practical level, there's not really a way out for them at this point. They're like, you could argue maybe if they really push for it, they get out of it. But it's like, gosh, Severen's gone, Homer's gone, May just left them. It's like, all right, if this is our time, so be it. And they're just like, hey, okay, if this is how it ends, that's how it ends.
Yeah, Diamondback here, she's all like, what does she say?
Fun times.
Yeah, fun times and everything. And I'm all like, is burning fun? We have different definitions of fun, honey. So then these two, they veer off and explode, because that's what happens when you spend too much time in the sun, you explode. And then they take May back to the barn and they cure her. And there she is and everything. And then Caleb comes in and they embrace. And then that's the end of the movie.
I even like that they end on a note of like fear for her. Like she's like, because it's almost like she's been reborn in a way. And it's like, what is this? Like she's it's the inverse of what Caleb went through, where he was like, I'm scared of what's happening to me. She's kind of going through that in reverse. Like she doesn't realize, or she doesn't remember what it was like to be human.
Right on. And so that's where the movie ends. Now, hold on, let me pull this back up and everything. There we go. Okay, so now before we wrap everything up and everything, I wanted to ask you guys, was there anything in this movie that we didn't touch on while covering it that you wanted to talk about? Well, Gourd King, we'll start with you.
I feel like I tried to get in as much as I possibly could from, what I know about the movie, about the making of it, and, obviously what I love about it. I think that as far as like film debuts go, this is one of the cooler ones. Catherine Bigelow, it's what I like about her so much is you don't have to say she's a great director for a girl, because look, realistically, most of the best filmmakers are men. That's the simple reality of it. That's not to say there aren't good filmmakers that are women, but there's not a ton of them that have made numerous great films, or at least numerous really good ones. Catherine Bigelow, she did this, she did The Hurt Locker, she did Zero Dark 30, she did Point Break. This girl's got a heck of a resume that there's a ton of male directors that can't match what she's done. She's a genuine artist. She's actually really intelligent,
she's hot. She is hot.
She's a good-looking woman and everything. She's actually really interesting to listen to in her various making of documentaries. I find her genuinely interesting.
I will have to believe you on that.
Yeah, but if you watch the making of, you listen to her talk about it. Granted, you could argue that wow, she's got a really different way of looking at a movie like this than most people, because she genuinely has an artist's perspective from it. But for her debut to be a movie that is, for the most part, about the dynamics of how men operate with each other. Granted, there's obviously a male to female romance in this too, but most of her movies center on men and their relationship with one another. And for a woman, she has actually a pretty firm grasp on that. It's kind of why I joked earlier that makes more masculine movies than her ex-husband does. Cameron's turned into a bit of a puss. But Bigelow is genuinely, like I said earlier, I think she's easily the greatest female director of all time. And it's not merely because she's got a couple of good movies. She has enough, strong movies to be called a great director, regardless of gender. So she's kind of arguably alone in that category, or close to it. But she's an actual pioneer who's done fantastic films. And yeah, this was it's one of my favorite debut movies by any director. It came out the same year as The Lost Boys. We didn't even talk about that comparison. I think this is a superior film. I know everyone loves the campiness and the 80s-ness of The Lost Boys. I do too. I think this is a better movie, personally.
Gotcha. Vetta, is there anything you wanted to discuss before we move on? Or before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. I mean, besides Homer, he's my favorite. Every time I see this actor on camera, I get super excited, and Homer just cracks me up.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Homer also because I just, even though okay, so the part that really like weirded me out about Homer, because we didn't get to talk about it very much, is so he got Sarah because he was going to change her. And then I was like, is it because he wanted her to like grow up so he could smash Sarah? I'm like, I don't like this at all. I don't like it.
I mean, he clearly wanted a girlfriend. We know that.
And I'm all like,
it's a question of, I mean, at minimum, if you're just going by the age and not taking into account like the behaviorism of, he's obviously maintained behavior of the age he was turned at. So that enables a level of sympathy towards him. But if we're just going purely by age, he is totally going to groom her. That's totally what we're looking at. Homer, you groomer.
Yeah, which I'm all like, Homer, Daddy doesn't like. So,
but like his character, the actor commits so much because even in the bar scene, he is sitting on the table acting like a child who's bored in a bar, which they should be. He's climbing on the table, off the table.
What's fascinating about Homer is he's the least. Well, and he's kind of the least capable of the group. Like obviously Caleb technically is because he's not even willing to kill, but he obviously does like plot-wise a bigger thing than Homer's able to do when he actually saves them from the shootout and everything. Homer's a kid and his only means of actually hunting is by trapping and playing the hurt child. So he constantly is kind of stuck on the sidelines. So he very easily could have become one of those latchkey type characters where because he's young and he's a kid, he's just kind of there, almost the way like a baby becomes in a lot of stories. When a baby is introduced into the plot, you're like, oh crap, now we got to deal with this baby bull crap. But he actually is a very well-established character. His behavior is done well. His dialogue is done well. His motivations do make sense, weird as they can be. Bigelow does a really good job writing him, and the actor does a really good job portraying him. It's a really good performance.
Right on. Okay, so my last thing that I want to ask you guys is, would you recommend this movie, Gourd King?
100%. I mean, it's not a movie that I think everybody is going to appreciate as much as someone like I do, but it is one of those quintessential 80s hidden gems that it's one of those movies that you could see gets kind of lost in the fray with, because the 80s is such a strong decade for good films. But if you're a fan of vampire movies, it's a vampire Western hybrid. So if you like either of those genres, it's a must see. But even if you're just kind of a student of film, it's like, look, it's Catherine Bigelow. She's kind of an important filmmaker, and this is her solo debut. So for just factors like those alone, it's definitely worth watching. I know people that don't care for it as much as I do, but like I said, I think objectively speaking, I think at minimum, it's a good film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Vetta, what about you? Would you recommend this movie?
100%.
Right on. Yeah, me too. I really did like this movie. I'm glad that you recommended it, Gourd King, because when we invited you on, you said it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that movie. And then I watched it, I was like, yeah, I do love this movie and everything. I totally forgot about a lot of it because I was just like Bill Paxton was probably my favorite because he was just like,
oh yeah, he's just so unhinged.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
great.
And he's just I just want to be like, yo, Severen, you need to calm the fuck down, okay? Because you were like all about it, like all the time.
One of my biggest, I think, movie hot takes, particularly when we associate with movies of the 80s. So everybody, I think if you were to ask most people, who's your favorite actor delivering one-liners, and everyone probably say Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I get that. I sympathize with that. However, there is a meta thing going on with his one-liners that arguably could take you out of the movie a little bit because you're like, Arnold being Arnold for the audience. Bill Paxton delivers one-liners as an actor way better because not only can he deliver all of them extremely well, they feel in character. He has several in this movie. He has a lot of them in Aliens, and they never feel like a wink at the audience. I mean, when he's standing there in the bungalows and he says checkout time, it's like that's not Bill Paxton being Bill Paxton. That's Bill Paxton being Severen. He lets it fit the character. He even he did a lot of like reading of old Westerns preparing for this role, and he found a bunch of little phrases in these various books that he incorporated into the character. Like, yeah, that guy smelled like a dead polecat and stuff like that. It's like he makes that come off very organic. I love the way he used to deliver one-liners. I was really sad when he passed away.
For sure. Yeah. Game over, man. Game over,
man. Game over.
Okay. So with that, Gourd King, before we wrap this up, where can everybody find you at, my dude?
So my movie channel is Papa Pumpkin, which you can find at youtube.com/at Papa Pumpkin, or whatever, however you do that address. That's the one. But obviously I often appear on live shows. I'm going to be on the Plot Strikes Back pretty soon, which great. I know this won't air right after we do it, but you can find me just on various friends' channels. I also do gaming streams over on my gaming channel, which is called Platinum Pumpkin. And I've also got a meme channel. I don't do a ton over there anymore, but it's just Gourd King. And of course, you can find me on Twitter. Same name, Gourd King.
Right on. And we will leave a link for everything to find Gourd King in the description down below, you guys. But thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. Now, if you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast needs, please leave us a 5-star review, you guys. We really appreciate it, and it helps us out tremendously. You have no idea. Well, like I said before, we'll also be posting the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so make sure to follow us there, like and subscribe, and that's at YouTube at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Also, you guys, we do have a Patreon if you guys are interested, and we have different levels to suit all your needs. And over there, we review movie series and franchises and everything. And we've done like the Bring It On series and Jurassic Park and Scream and all that good stuff. Go check it out if you're interested. That link will be in the description down below also. But
Bring It On was a series?
Yes.
Six of them. There's even a horror one called Cheer or Die.
Cheer or Die. Yep. It's okay.
But horror. I thought you went a different route for a moment.
Yes,
I did not hear that second syllable.
There is a Pornhub one. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay. But most importantly, you guys, please don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.